Have you ever felt like you matter to no one? Like you're one among millions, a number, someone who could disappear and no one would notice? It's one of the saddest feelings there is, to feel invisible, one of the crowd, to count for no one. And if today you feel that way, the gospel has something to say to you. Something that goes straight to that wound. Because today St. Matthew does something that at first glance seems boring. He lists the names of the 12 apostles, one by one. Simon, Andrew, James, John, Philip, the whole list. But stop and think. Why does the gospel bother to put each name? Because for Jesus, none of them was one more. Each one he called by name. Each one he chose personally. None of them was one of the crowd. And here's the good news, my brother. Jesus doesn't call anonymous masses. He calls people with a first and last name. He calls you. Stay with me, because today I want you to discover that for God, you are not a number. You are someone chosen, called, and sent. Listen to this scene from St. Matthew. Notice how Jesus calls each one. Jesus summoned his 12 disciples and gave them authority over unclean spirits to drive them out and to cure every disease and every illness. The names of the 12 apostles are these. First, Simon, called Peter, and his brother Andrew. James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John. Philip and Bartholomew. Thomas and Matthew, the tax collector. James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus. Simon the Cananaean, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. Jesus sent out these 12 after instructing them thus: Do not go into pagan territory or enter a Samaritan town. Go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. As you go, make this proclamation: The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Let's go through it part by part, because in this short Gospel there are 3 hidden gifts. Jesus calls, Jesus gives power, and Jesus sends. And all 3 have to do with you. Let's begin with the call, which is the first thing and the most beautiful. Notice that the Gospel takes the trouble to put the 12 names one by one. It could have simply said, He called 12, and moved on. But no. Simon, Andrew, James, John, and so on to the last. Why? Because each name matters. Because Jesus didn't call an anonymous group, he called concrete persons, each with his story, his character, his flaws. And this, my brother, says so much about how God treats you. God doesn't see you as part of a mass. He sees you with your name, with your face, with your unique story. In the Bible, God says, I have carved you on the palm of my hand. I have called you by name. You are mine. To the world you may be a number. To God you are a name, a child, someone unrepeatable. Think of it this way. In all of human history, with the billions of people who have existed, there has never been another you. No one with your exact way of laughing, of looking, of loving. You are unique, unrepeatable, an original thought of God. God doesn't make copies. He doesn't mass produce. He thought of you. He wanted you. He called you into existence with a personal love, as if you were the only one. And that same God who created you with such care today calls you by name for a mission only you can accomplish, in the place where only you are, with the people God entrusted to you alone. No one can take your place in God's heart, and no one can do what God expects of you. That's why you're important. That's why you matter. Never doubt it. And look at whom he called, because this is even more consoling. He didn't call the wise or the powerful or perfect people. He called uneducated fishermen, a tax collector despised by everyone, simple men with fears, with flaws. Peter would deny him 3 times. Thomas would doubt. And there in that list, even the name of Judas appears, the one who would betray him. Jesus called them knowing perfectly well who they were, flaws and all. My brother, do you realize what this means for you? That God doesn't wait for you to be perfect to call you. He calls you just as you are, with your flaws, with your past, with your weaknesses. If God only called the perfect, He would have called no one. He calls you today with everything you carry. And look at what a curious mix of people Jesus put together, because this, too, teaches us something. In that group was Matthew, who had been a tax collector, a collaborator with the Romans, one of the most hated by the people. And there was also Simon the Cananean, who was one of the zealots, those who wanted to throw out the Romans by force, even by violence. That is, Jesus put on the same team a man of the Roman system and a sworn enemy of Rome. 2 people who in normal life would have hated each other, who were on opposite sides. And Jesus set them walking together. My brother, that's what God's love does. It unites what the world separates. It unites those who were enemies. It makes a family out of people who are nothing alike. In the church, there's room for everyone. The one on the right and the one on the left. The rich and the poor. The one who was holy and the one who was a disaster. What unites us is not being the same, but being all called by the same Jesus. Don't let differences separate you from your brother. If Jesus could unite Matthew with Simon, He can unite you with the one you see today as your enemy. And here comes the second gift. Jesus doesn't just call them, He also gives them power. The Gospel says He gave them authority to drive out demons and cure diseases. That is, He doesn't send them empty-handed. When God calls you to something, He also gives you what you need to fulfill it. Many times we say, "I can't. I'm no good. I don't have the ability for this." And it's true, alone we can't. But God never calls without giving the strength. If He asks you something, if He puts on your path a mission, a cross, a responsibility, trust. He'll also give you the grace to carry it. Don't count only on your strength. Count on His. Those apostles, so limited, ended up changing the world, not because of what they were, but because of the power God gave them. Think of it with a simple example, my brother. A mother who suddenly finds herself alone raising her children. Where does she get the strength to work all day and come home and still care for them, cook, console, pray with them? Humanly, that can't be sustained. And yet how many mothers do it, year after year? Where does that strength come from? From God, who gives power to whoever He entrusts with a mission. The same with the one who cares for a sick person for years, the one who forgives a wound that seemed unforgivable, the one who holds on to faith in the middle of trial. That's not just human merit. It's the grace of God working in simple people who let themselves be called. So when you feel the load is beyond you, don't look only at your strength. Remember that the one who called you also holds you up. Ask for his power and walk with confidence. And the third gift comes, which is the consequence of it all. Jesus sends them. Go and proclaim that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Notice, he calls them, gives them power, and right away sends them. Because whoever is called by God is not meant to stay still, keeping the treasure. It's to go out, to give, to bring others what they received. And this applies to you too, my brother. You weren't called to the faith just for yourself, for your own salvation, and that's it. You were also called to be sent, to bring a little of God to those around you. You don't need to go to distant lands. Your mission begins at home, with your family, with your neighbors, with the people God puts on your path each day. That's where you have to proclaim the kingdom, often without words, only by your way of living, by your kindness, by your patience, by your faith. And don't think you need to be someone important for this. Look, Jesus began with 12 simple people, without fame, without power, without resources. Just 12. And with those 12, he changed the history of the whole world. God doesn't need crowds or extraordinary people. A few who say yes are enough for him. You are enough for him with your yes of each day. Don't belittle yourself. Don't say, "What am I going to do if I'm nobody?" The apostles were also nobody in the eyes of the world, and look what God did with them. Put yourself in his hands, and you'll see what he can do with you. And let me tell you something that consoles a great deal, my brother. Maybe you think, I've already missed my chance. I'm already old. I've made too many mistakes. God doesn't call me anymore. A lie. God calls at any age and at any moment of life. He called Peter when he was already a grown fisherman with his boat and his family. He calls the young and he calls the old. He calls the one who has never done anything for him and the one who drifted away years ago. As long as you have a breath of life, God keeps calling you, keeps having a plan for you, keeps wanting to count on you. It's never too late to answer him. And maybe your greatest mission is right now, at this stage of your life, in the people you have around you today. Don't look back thinking of what you didn't do. Look at Jesus, who today again says your name and says, "Come, I still need you." So, what do we take home today? That for God you are not a number, you are a name. He calls you personally just as you are, flaws and all. That when he calls you, he also gives you the strength to answer. And that he calls you in order to send you, so you may bring others the love you received. So today, listen to him call you by name. Don't feel like one of the crowd. Don't feel invisible. You are chosen. You are called. You are sent. And where you are, God wants you as his witness. Today's task is beautiful. At some point in the day, stay for a moment in silence and listen to Jesus say your name. Yes, your name, the one you were given at birth, the one used by those who love you. Imagine that Jesus looks at you and says it with affection, as he called Peter, Andrew, John. And then ask him, "Lord, what are you calling me to today? Whom are you sending me to?" Maybe the answer is someone very close who needs your patience, your forgiveness, your help. A word from you. Listen and answer with a yes, even a small one. That's how the saints began, with a yes. And listen, if this message made you feel that, yes, you do matter to God, help me get it to someone who today feels invisible, one of the crowd, who counts for no one. Subscribe if you haven't yet, give it a like, and share this video with that person so they may know that God calls them by name. And leave me your city and your country in the comments, and if you want, write your name so I can pray for you at Mass today, for you personally, not as a number, but with your name. One more thing, important. There are fake pages using my face and my name to ask for money and promise miracles. That is not me. I will never ask you for money for prayer. The only true channel is Light of Faith with Father David. Please be careful. Stay now for the Holy Mass of this Wednesday, July 8th. We offer it for you, for your family, and in a special way for all who today feel invisible, one of the crowd, who think they matter to no one, that they may discover that God calls them by name and wants them as His own. May God bless you, and don't forget, you are not a number to God, you are a name, a child, one chosen. May God bless you all, today and always.